Good evening, everybody. This is Strongbow, sometimes go by the moniker the DFW Vulcan in my motovlog videos. I know it's been a while since I've produced any videos. There's a good reason for that, and I hopefully will be starting to produce some motovlogs again real soon, and I'll get into why there's been such a long break then. But tonight I'm doing a video about one of my other hobbies, completely unrelated to motorcycling, and that is Locksport. Locksport, for those of you who are not into it, is basically recreational lock picking. So those that are really into Locksport also get into building locks, not exactly locksmithing, but taking existing locks and repitting them, and they usually trade them with other people in the Locksport community. They build challenge locks and see if they can make a lock that's really difficult to pick and send it off to other people in the community to try and pick it. I'm a beginner at this. I kind of got into it a couple of years ago, but you know, when I just kind of first heard of it and thought, hey, you know, it'd be kind of cool to learn to pick locks, and didn't really get into it that deeply until, I don't know, about a year ago, and then really just the last couple of months. And it's only been about the last week that I've had any success with single pin picking locks, which for those of you who are not into Locksport is what we classically think of as lock picking, which you see in Hollywood, where, you know, the guy goes in there and sticks a pick in there and picks each of the pins in the lock and gets it to pop open. Of course, what you see in Hollywood movies and TV shows is complete crap anyway, because you usually see them sticking one tool in there, and that doesn't work. But I've been able to rake most of these locks for a while, and I thought tonight I would do my first lock picking video and just show the progress I've got this far, because I posted a photo on Facebook the other day showing all the locks I had picked while just sitting around one night, and someone wanted to see some video of it. So here we go. This here is the set of lock picks that I actually use, picks and rakes, I should say, and tension tools that I actually use. This is a combination of two sets of picks, predominantly the Tremendous 12 from TOOOL, the open organization of Lockpickers, which my friend Ada picked up for me in the Lockpickers village at, was it DEF CON or Black Hat, I don't remember which one it was, in Las Vegas about a month and a half ago. But also in here are a couple of rakes and one pick from the Southord MPXS-08 kit. I just like the TOOOL picks better, but there's a couple of rakes in that Southord kit that isn't in the TOOOL set. This case is actually a cheapy case that I got by purchasing a $7 or $8 set of dental picks off of Amazon. I had no interest in the dental picks themselves. They look rather scary and not very well made, and not the kind of thing I want to stick in my mouth. If somebody's sticking one of these in my mouth, I'd rather it be my dentist and not me. Didn't buy it for those, I bought it for this case, which is actually a cheapy case, but it gets the job done. It's much better than what I had for carrying these bits. I've covered the handles of my picks and rakes with shrink wrap. All of these, except for one, are covered in 2 layers of shrink wrap, and I put 3 around one of them. That's what I'd heard, you know, the people that use that method for cushioning their handles do 3 layers, and then I think that's this one. And I decided that 3 is a little bit much. I'm good with 2 layers. This is just some, I say shrink wrap, it's shrink tube. It's, you basically stick what it is you want to cover inside it, cut it to length, and then use a cigarette lighter or a small torch to apply some heat, and it shrinks down. But they feel really good with that on there. Feels like it's got a rubbery handle. Anyway, enough talking about all this stuff. Let me actually shoot some video of me actually picking stuff. This is actually my fourth attempt to shoot this video, because the first couple of times, some of these locks that I can defeat in seconds when I'm just sitting here practicing just didn't want to open on camera. So this is my fourth night in a row trying this. Hopefully I'll have better luck. These are the locks I'm going to pick. There are 8 locks in this set. This first one is a piece of junk from Walmart. It's their Hypertough brand. And it's even worse than Master Lock. I was very disappointed when I got it, and I went to pick it open, and I stuck a tension tool in it, and I stuck a pick in there. I hadn't even started trying to pick it yet. I was sticking it there and trying to reach into the back of the keyway so I can start, back to front, and it just popped right open just like that. It was very disappointing. And then there's 4 Master Locks, including a Master number 3. And a Master, I think, is a number 7. Yeah, number 7. And then this one here, is it Lock Noob? No, Helpful Lockpicker, that has a list of like the first 10 progressive beginner locks, something like that. Starts with one of those clear plastic acrylic demo locks, and then a Master number 3, and then a 140. This is not a 140, but I believe this is just because the 140 is a brass lock like this one. I believe this is basically the same lock. It's just the version that's in aluminum and then has a plastic cladding on the outside. But I think it's basically the same lock. And then there's another one that's pretty much the same thing, but a smaller version of it. I don't know the model numbers on these two. I think this one's called a 141, and I have no idea on that one. And then the last 3 locks are Ace Hardware brand locks, which I don't know anything about them. I just picked them up in my neighborhood Ace Hardware. The first 2 are obviously brass locks, something about equivalent to the 140, Master 140, and a smaller brother to that. And then this is a bit bigger than the Master number 3. But it's also an Ace Hardware, same style, laminated, riveted lock. These Ace locks I cannot pick open yet. This one, I can usually rake it open. And I have picked it open a couple of times now, but I can't do so reliably. And I can't say for sure that I'll even get a rake open tonight on camera. I could probably rake it open, but I can't guarantee it. Probably will not get a pick open. And these 2 I've spent a lot less time on because I've been trying to progressively go up. Once I can do this one reliably, then I'll spend more time on these 2. But as yet, I have got absolutely nothing out of these 2. So I guess these Ace locks are a bit better made than Master. So let me get started on this Hypertough. Hypertough piece of junk. And get out my favorite tension tool. Actually zoom in this camera here. I've got 2 cameras going, and that should be, there we go. Make sure that's in focus. That's in autofocus mode, so we're good. Okay, so this one should pick open real easily. Like I said, the first time it popped open, I was just literally just pop, just like that. It was that fast. There we go. Well, that should have opened it. First, now that I've got it on camera, nothing's going to pick open as easily as it does when I'm just sitting there practicing on these things. There we go. Stuck inside each other. All right, number 1. going to start with the master number 3 of my set of master locks. This is the one that gives me the most trouble. Not because the number 3 is any more difficult than the other 3, but because this particular one, there's so much slop in the core. I think this one is slightly damaged in that the core doesn't quite line up with the body, and specifically the Bible. So the pins sometimes don't always go up into the Bible like they're supposed to. So I have to make sure that the core is all the way to the front. And what I'm going to do actually is, first I'm going to rake each lock, relock it, and then single pin pick it, just to demonstrate doing both. And all of them rake real easily, especially these masters. Move that out of my way. Of course I say that, and now it doesn't want to rake open. And I'm using the S rake. This is one of those that comes out of that Southord kit instead of the TOOOL kit. Of the 3, is it 3? Yeah, 3 rakes I keep in my carry kit, this is the one I have the best luck with. And that is the S rake. There we go. Alright, that was raked open. Lock it up again. Wiggle that around to make sure all the pins are reset. And now I'm going to attempt to single pin pick this. And I'm going to use the, I'm going to start out using the just medium hook from the TOOOL kit. That's TOOO, 3 O's, L. If anybody's looking for them online, it's tool.us here in the United States. This is about a $30 kit. I think I paid, I don't know, 20 something dollars for the Southord. And this, I'm way out of frame on this close-up camera. There, that's better. So I may go back and re-rake this. Oops, I had my pick upside down. Re-rake this, making sure I'm in frame, and then edit that in. I did some playing around using an iPhone and a particular audio mode on my iPhone that really picks up every little sound that I was going to try and use to edit that into the soundtrack of my videos so that you could hear like every little click of these pins. But after trying 3 times already to shoot this video and starting over every time, I'm just going to see if I can do this video without getting so fancy, and maybe get fancier with the sound next time. Besides which, you can probably hear these clicks anyway. It's pretty quiet right now, but you might be seeing some flashes off camera and hearing some thunder. We've got a nice little storm going here in the Fort Worth, Texas area. It's I can still see it flashing out there, but it seems to have calmed down the moment I walked upstairs to sit down in this room and shoot this video. Normally I can defeat this one with the picking a bit faster than this. Yep, I've already overset that one. And because I've picked this one so many times, I know which pins I need to hit. which is why you see me kind of skipping at least one pin there, because I know I don't need to touch it, which may be cheating, but sometimes this works better just to kind of cheating, even is really raking, even though I'm using a pick to do it, but sometimes it goes faster that way. The reason I'm resetting so early is because I happen to know on this lock that what I need is just barely push up pins 1, 2, and 4. And don't touch pin 3, and I keep oversetting those 1 and 2. This video is getting kind of long. I didn't expect this one to take this long. I'm going to actually switch out to the Southord medium hook. The difference between this one and the TOOOL medium hook, hopefully you can see this on camera, is the Southord has a much thinner shaft. That's the one on top, and comes to a finer point, whereas the TOOOL is the one on top, has the thinner shaft and comes to a finer point. The one on the bottom is the Southord, has a thicker shaft and has a kind of a flat top to it, and they're both about the same thickness this way. So this one gives me a lot more room inside the keyway, and the tip is thinner and I can feel the pins a little more easily. This one, being a thicker shaft, I've got a lot more strength when I'm worried I'm going to bend or break my pick. But I don't have it only works on the larger keyways, and I can't feel the pins quite as well. But I know on this particular lock, it does seem to work better. There we go. All right, that's 2 down. The rest of those that I can actually do will probably go down a lot quicker, I hope. And for this particular one, I'm going to change out my tension tool because it does have such a tiny keyway that I've got another tension tool that gives me a little bit more room to work with. It's not as stiff a tool, but it's thinner. The metal is thinner, so it doesn't take up as much keyway space. And it's one of these that has a twist in it. So, just as before, I'm going to start out with a rake, again using the Southord S rake, or I think they call it a C rake, snake rake. Make sure I'm in frame here. And it's just that fast to rake it. Reset everything. And then I'm going to use the tool. Where did I set it down? Actually, not the medium hook. I'm going to go for it's called the deep reach hook on this one. Not because I have to reach particularly deep, but because this is such a small keyway, I have better luck with this one, getting into the back of this keyway. Making sure I'm kind of in frame. As I'm probably not doing a real good job getting good angles where you can really see what I'm doing on these cameras, but this is my first Locksport video, so hopefully I will get better at that part as I go. Like I said, I'm using 2 cameras. Hopefully I'll be able to give you good views out of both of them when I edit this together. The wide angle is my SJCAM SJ7 Star, which is my helmet cam in my moto vlogs. And then the close-up is a DSLR, a Canon EOS 5 Ti with a 18 to 55 millimeter lens, currently at 55 millimeters. More detail than you wanted to know, right? This is supposed to be about Locksport. I'm also a bit of a camera geek. There we go. Okay, that's 3. These guys go down real fast. Alright, set that aside. That's the only lock I use that one on. Alright, raking. In the viewfinder of that close-up camera and realizing that in this lighting I've got a really sickly looking skin tone, but I guarantee it's just the bad lighting in this room. It's just a couple of overhead fluorescents, which never looks no wonder it's taking so long to get the rake upside down. And fluorescent lighting never looks good on video. Normally I can pick all of these, there we go, all these masters a lot faster than this. Every time I turn on the camera they seem to want to start actually being difficult. Well, not really difficult, but am I just yammering away? And we're going to go back to our medium hook. There we go. Single pin picking. Make sure I'm in frame there. I overset something. So we're already 24 minutes into this video and I'm barely I'm more than halfway through the locks I actually expected to get through. Anyway. And like I said, this one is, now that I've got a camera going, it's suddenly being much more difficult than normal. Alright, I'm going to switch back to what I said about this one having the thicker shaft, or when I'm worried about I'm going to bend or break my pick. There we go. Sometimes it just takes switching out my tool and suddenly everything works. I keep setting my tools down and then losing track of where I set each one. All right, raking, S-rake again, or snake rake. I mean, that shows you just how crappy these master locks are when you can rake it that quickly. And single pin picking. I have to edit this way down. I'm almost half an hour already. There we go. That's 5 down. All right, this is where we get into the challenging ones. Hopefully I can get this one raked open on camera. Don't guarantee it, and I don't have real high confidence that I will be able to single pin pick this, but we'll give it a try. Now this one, I will start with the snake rake, but I've actually found that this one falls to my Bogota more reliably than the snake, but I'll start with the snake and give it a try. Let's go to the Bogota. It's the Bogota from the TOOOL kit. At least I think this is a Bogota. I've seen some Locksport folks refer to this as just a triple peak or a wave, but I think this is also called the Bogota. And there we go. Well, I'm quite pleased that it raked open that quickly. Yeah, maybe I'll have some good luck with attempting to single pin pick it. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I don't think there are any security pins in these aces. They just seem to be mostly better materials, better tolerances than the master locks. And because I've only successfully picked this one a couple of times, I do not remember starting to bend that pick a little bit. I don't remember the positions of the pins. I haven't memorized the bitting on the key. All of the locks that I've picked so far and the one I'm working on right now are 4-pin locks. The last two, these guys here, those are both 5 pins, which probably partially explains why I have had no luck at all with them. Because, like I said, I'm still very much a beginner at this. I go back and forth between very light tension, which is what a lot of the picking guides and YouTubers in the Locksport community recommend, and alternate that with very heavy tension, which is what Lockpicking Lawyer actually recommends in his advice on that subject. Makes a lot of sense to me in that, you know, with heavy tension, once you get a binding pin to slip, you're more likely to get that to jump to slip right to the shear line and catch it at the shear line than to overset it that way. Since Lockpicking Lawyer seems to know what the heck he's talking about, I figure that is good advice. It was really entertaining to watch him knock out all those locks from Bosnian Bill's naughty bucket. Pardon me for a moment, I got a little itch. Try, just because I'm trying heavy tension right now, I'm going to switch out to the heavier pick. Alright, obviously something got overset there. Alright, well, you guys just saw a jump cut there in the middle of the video. That's because my wife decided to call me and ask if I wanted to join her for some ice cream in the middle of me shooting a video. So I won't risk getting my video banned on some copyright violation because of my ringtone. And if it sounds funny that my wife calls me when we're both inside the same house, yeah, she doesn't like climbing the stairs to come up here. So instead of shouting upstairs and through closed doors, she just calls me on the cell phone. First world problems, right? Not getting a lot of luck on the picking of this lock. Okay, I'm going to try one other pick before I give up for the night, and that is this guy. It's a, I believe this is called, get this centered on camera. Hopefully the autofocus will, come on. Come on, autofocus. Sometimes you just have to take it into your own hands. Okay. This is, I believe this is called the Forest Half Diamond. And I haven't used this one a lot, but I really like the way it feels. So we'll see if I have any better luck with it. Come on, autofocus. Focus here. I don't know what's up with the autofocus, that it's not cooperating. Yeah, much as I would like to get a successful pick of this lock on video, we're already at almost 40 minutes of footage, which means I've got a lot of editing to do to not have this be a lot of me rambling in a very boring way as I attempt to pick these locks. So I may just have to give up on getting a pick of this lock on camera. I don't feel too bad about that. This is not a lock that I have successfully picked a lot of times anyway. I'm just pleased that I got a quick rake out of it on camera. Alright, I'm giving up on that one tonight. Bonus video, I'm going to see if I can single pin pick this guy a little quicker than I did the first time. Just to prove that it isn't normally that difficult to pick. get the tensioner in the keyway properly. There we go. That's more the speed I expect to get that one picked. Okay, there we go. That's 4 masters and a Hypertough, all successfully raked and picked, and 1 ace, whatever model this thing is. It's a 1.5 by 1.25 by 3/4 maybe. Raked but not picked, and didn't even attempt these two tonight. There you go.